a blessed day, everyone! Ako nga po pala si Teacher Lumaban sa mga hindi pa po nakakilala sa akin. Pag-uusapan po natin ngayon ang Applied Entrepreneurship Recognizing a Potential Market. Sana po ay may matutunan kayo. Kung hindi pa po kayo subscriber, pakiusap po, sana mag-subscribe po tayo. Maraming salamat po at God bless always.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
In recognizing a potential market, we will analyze the market need, determine the possible goods or services that will meet the need, and screen the proposed solutions based on viability, profitability, and customer requirements, and select the best product that will meet the market need.
In analyzing the market need, we will discuss the definition of market, define market needs, identify market needs method, and discuss his market sizing.
What is your definition of a market? Ikaw, kung ikaw tatanong ko, ano ba ang meaning ng market sa'yo? Sige nga, bibigyan kita ng 5 segundo para sagutin kung ano ang market para sa'yo. O, di ba? Common na sa lahat sa atin pag sinabing market, palengke. It is a place where 2 or more people can gather to facilitate the trade of goods or services. Yan po yung binabanggit yan yung palengke. Majority sa atin yan ang nasa isip. Sinabing market, public market. Pero po, sa entrepreneur or sa business, ang market iba ang meaning. Pag sinabing market, it is the total of all the buyers and sellers in the area under consideration. Yan po yung meaning ng market pag ikaw isang entrepreneur or businessman. Diba? Pareho po yan silang tama. Depende lang sa ginagamit nating salita. Kasi ang market dito, yung common nating sinasabing market, tumutukoy siya sa palengke. Sa entrepreneur naman po or sa businessman, ang market yung total ng mamimili at saka ng seller. Pag sinabi natin area, ito po yung mga binabanggit na pwede po yan siyang bansa, pwede po yan siyang probinsya, pwede po yan siyang munisipyo, pwede po yan siyang syudad, pwede pong barangay, at pwede din pong sitio o baryo. Pag sinabing consideration, pinag-aaralan, di ba? Pag mas magandang intindihin, pag sabing market, sino ba ang market mo kung magbebenta ka ng turon? Diba? Pag sinabi, ibig sabihin, yun yung customer. Yung total customer. Yung total na customer at yung mga competitors mo. Kung sabi competitors, yan po yung seller, di ba? Kaya nga, buyers and seller. Buyer, yun yung customer. Seller, sino-sino ba ang mga nagbebenta nito? Pwede mo maging competitors. Diba? Ang market na palengke naman po sa mo, pupunta ako ng palengke kasi bibili ako ng isda. O pupunta ako ng market kasi bibili ako ng pork chop. Yun po. Palengke. Ha? Pero ang i-discuss po natin sa topic na ito ay ang market ng entrepreneur. So, yung market na total buyers and seller. Yung po i-discuss natin. Kaya malito po kayo. Kaya sinabi ko na po agad kung ano yung market ng entrepreneur. Analyzing the market need. Kapag sinabing analyzing the market need, ano ba ang pagkakaintindi nyo nito? Ito ay pagkaaral sa pangangailangan ng mga mamimili. Ang pag-aaral sa pangangailangan at kagustuhan ng mga mamimili ay importante sa kahit anong negosyo. Dahil ang mga mamimili ang buhay ng bawat negosyo. Kung walang mamimili o kaya hindi sapat ang mamimili sa inyong negosyo, baka hindi ito magtagal. Dahil isa sa mga dahilan ng tagumpay ng bawat negosyo ay ang dami ng mga mamimili nito. Maraming negosyo ang hindi kaya alamin ang pangangailangan at kagustuhan ng kanilang mamimili. Kaya, karamihan sa mga negosyong ito ay hindi tumatagal. Ang kaalaman sa mga bagay nito ay pwedeng gamitin upang tapatan ang matatagal at matatatag na negosyo. Ang pag-aaral sa pangangailangan at kagustuhan ng isang mamimili ay pwedeng maging daan sa pagbukas ng panibagong negosyo. Kaya, napaka-importante na pag-aralan ang pangangailangan at kagustuhan ng mga mamimili. What are market needs? Bago natin pag-usapan kung anong market needs, ngayon, identify muna natin anong pinagkaiba ng need at saka ng want. Ang needs is something that is necessary. Yung kailangan talaga. Diba sabi natin, kailangan talagang kumain. Kailangan talagang matulog. Diba? Ito yung mga kailangan para mag-survive o para mabuhay. Ang want is something that is a desire to possess, yung gusto nyo nang magkaroon. Yan po yun. Bakit napaka-importante malaman natin ano ang gusto at saka ano yung kailangan ng market? The market needs and want. This is the name and unnamed need and want of the market when they come into contact you, your business, your competitors, or when they search for the solution you provide. Snapin natin name, ito yung mga existing na needs or wants na na-identify na o existing na yung service o yung goods nila. Pag sinabing unnamed, ito yung mga bagong kailangan o yung mga bagong pagustuhan ng market. To identify the needs and the wants of the market, you must solicit a feedback from your market at every step of your process. Diba? Kailangan para malaman natin kung ano yung needs at wants ng market, siyempre kailangan alamin natin. Diba? Kasi kung hindi natin alamin, uhulaan lang natin, napakahirap po yun. Kasi ang market ang nangangailangan at nakakaalam ng kanilang need at saka ng want. You can identify the market need and want in several ways. Ito po yung mga sample para natin ma-identify yung need at want ng market. Una, by conducting focus group and listening to your customer or social media. Mamaya po, pag-uusapan natin yan, ano-ano ang mga bagay na iyan para ma-identify natin, ma-analyze natin ang market needs. Ngayon, pag-usapan natin ang mga methods to identify market needs. Ano-ano nga ba ang method para ma-identify mo ang market needs? May alam ka ba kung anong mga method ito? Hindi mo po alam? Sasabihin ko po sa inyo ang tatlong method para ma-identify ang market needs. Una ang focus group. Pangalawa ang social listening. Pangatlo ang keyword research. Kaya, Pag sinabi nating focus group, ano po ba ibig sabihin yan? It is a market research method that brings together 6 to 10 people in a room to provide feedback about their needs, di ba? Kasi ito pa ay binubuo ng 6 hanggang 10 tao. Dito po sinasabi nila really kung ano yung mga problema nila, ano yung mga kailangan nila sa buhay. Or kasama din dito ano ba kunyari sa cellphone, ano ba kailangan nila sa cellphone, diba? Kaya nga diba may mga cellphone na nag-i-improve kasi nadidiscuss dito yung mga kailangan. Tapos sunod yung social listening. Ano ba yung social listening? Ang social listening gives you access to what people are saying about their needs across social media and web. Diba binabanggit na yung mga problema nila, yung mga hashtag. Ano yung mas maraming hashtag na problema para magawan mo ng solusyon. Ganun din sa internet, di ba? Kaya na-identify po. Kung hindi mo man po sila makaharap, pwede mo tingnan sa mga hashtag nila o mga mostly popular na problemang pinapakita sa Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Sunod ang keyword research is a way of identifying the need by the use of search engine most common words and phrases entered. Paano yung mga mostly hinahanap ba nila? Diba, katulad dati, kung titingnan mo sa Facebook, sinabing pampaputi. Ang daming sabon na binibentang pampaputi. Pag sinabing pampatangkad, ang daming gamot na binibentang pampatangkad. Diba? Yun po ang tatlong methods para malaman natin ano ba yung kailangan ng market. After we have identified the market need using the different method, it is necessary to conduct market sizing. Market sizing is necessary because it will identify the real target market of the actual customer of the business. Ang unang part ng market sizing ay ang total available market. Is a reference to the total market demand for goods or services. Sa yung kabuuan. Ang TAM ay nagbibigay ng idea kung sino at gaano karami ang kabuang market need na masiservisyohan. At itong information na ito ay mahalaga sa mga investor kasi kung nakita lang napakaliit lang, bakit sila mag-invest? Baka malugi pa sila kung konti lang naman yung mga nangangailangan. Ang susunod ay ang Serviceable Available Market o SAM is the part of the TAM targeted by the entrepreneur's goods or services that is within reach. Ito yung pangalawa sa pinaka-malaki. Ang SAM ay nagbibigay ng idea kung ilan ang market need na pwede mong pagservisyuhan. Dito makikita ng investor at entrepreneur kung mag-survive pa sila sa market o hindi. Mostly, ito ay binubuo ng 1 to 10% ng total available market. Hindi pa ito yung pwede mong pagservisyuhan talaga. Kumbaga ba, idea lang ito. Hindi pa yung actual. Ang susunod ay ang SUM or ang Serviceable Obtainable Market or itinatawag na portion of SAM that realistically reachable. Ito ay nagbibigay ng makatotohanan idea kung sino talaga ang market need na mapagsiservisyuhan mo. Ito talaga yung actual customer mo. Dapat natin itong malaman kasi kung napakaliit ng actual customer mo o actual na magiging customer mo, baka malugi ka. Kaya dapat malaman natin kung gaano talaga kalaki. Baka mamaya ang total available market malaki nga, pagdating naman sa serviceable, obtainable market, napaka-liit. Mahirap yan. Baka hindi mag-survive ang business. Isama rin natin yung market sizing. Ang TAM o Total Available Market, ito ang kabuang mapagseservisyohan. Total. Ang SAM o Serviceable Available Market, ito yung mga tao na pwede mong pagservisyohan. Ang SOM o Serviceable Obtainable Market, ito yung mapagseservisyohan mo. Ito yung real customer o yung totoo mong customer. Tandaan lang po natin yung tatlong yan. Para magkaroon tayo ng mas malinaw na overview sa market sizing, magbibigay ako ng simpleng sample. Sample lang to Ngayon, ikaw bilang entrepreneur, na-recognize mo, na-analyze mo na ang need ng tao ay bottled water. Ngayon, ang bottled water ay need talaga ng buong mundo. Pwede bang gawing TAM o Total Available Market ang buong mundo? Pwede, kaya lang napakalaki para sa negosyanteng nagsisimula pa lang. Kaya litan natin, Pilipinas, pwede din siyang Total Available Market, kaya lang napakalaki pa din para sa nagsisimulang negosyante. Isla lang ng Palawan kasi best island in the world siya, pwede nating gamitin Total Available Market. Dahil ang isla ng Palawan ay napakaraming turista, malaki ang demand at pangangailangan ng bottled water. Dahil nagsisimulang negosyante ka pa lang, ang pwede mong maging serviceable available market ay ang lungsod ng Puerto Princesa. Kasi nga, mahirap pa sa'yo ma-reach ang buong isla ng Palawan. Ito yung mga pwedeng mag-avail ng bottled water mo. Pero, ang serviceable, obtainable market mo o SOM ay ang city proper. Kasi ang pwesto mo ay nasa city proper. Kaya ang mga malalapit sa iyo sa pwesto mo, sila yung mga bumibili ng bottled water mo. Sana po ay makatulong itong sample ko.
After analyzing the market need, now it's time to determine the possible products that will meet the needs of the market. In determining the possible products that will meet the needs, we will differentiate products, goods, and services, then identify the types of market needs. Next is to determine the possible goods or services, and discuss process in meeting the market needs.
This time, we will differentiate products, goods, and services. What is product? Product is an object or system created for customer use. It is anything that can be contributed to a market to meet the want or needs of a customer. While goods are physical or tangible products that consumer buy to meet their needs and involve the transfer of ownership from the seller to the customer. And services are intangible or non-material that consist of activities, benefits, or satisfaction and do not result in the ownership of anything. The difference between products, goods, and services. There are two types of products, goods and services. Goods are tangible because they can be seen and touched. Services are intangible because they cannot be seen and touched, but you can feel them. Goods are homogeneous because they have the same kind or alike. Services are heterogeneous because they have diverse in character and content. Goods can be stored. Services cannot be stored. In terms of transfer of ownership, goods can be transfer of ownership. Services cannot transfer the ownership. Example of goods are pencil and cell phone. Example of services are plumbing and repairing. What are market needs? Market needs are the identified and unidentified necessities of the market that communicated with your business, your competitors, or when they search for the answer you provide. To meet the needs of the market, you need to solicit feedback from your market at every step of the process because the market knows what they need. Types of market needs. Market needs can be classified or categorized based on market demographics. However, it can have two sections under two verticals: the goods needs and the services needs. The goods needs requirements are associated with and around the goods. If it matches the market need, they become potential buyers. The main attribute of goods needs can be price, features, and effectiveness. Price. Markets generally set their budget for any good purchase, which means they have an established estimated expenditure for any good purchase. Features. Market look for features that would solve their problem and reliability in functioning while using the product. They are looking for goods that will answer their problem and give them quality of goods they will use. Effectiveness. The product should be useful in streamlining the process to save time. They are looking for goods that will provide them increasing speed and ease of movement, while service needs refer to the expensive needs of the market. Being able to satisfy the market service needs can give the business a competitive edge and set a good example for other brands to follow. The key attribute of service can be empathy, clarity, and communication. Markets stick to brands that serve them with an empathetic attitude. They are looking for service with the ability to understand and share their understanding. While clarity is market look for transparent information for the brand related to pricing, refund, policy, etc., which means they are looking for understandable service. Communication. The market needs information from the point of interaction until the end. They are looking for service that have influence. Determining the possible goods or services. Determining the possible goods or services that will meet the need of the market is essential to any startup entrepreneurs. It is a crucial process because the concept may fail if this is not implemented properly. However, defining a product market can be challenging for any startup entrepreneurs, as it takes time and requires a deep understanding of the target market. The simple truth is that no one will buy your product if they believe they don't want it or they don't need it. And you won't persuade anyone to buy what you're offering unless you clearly understand what it is your market wants. Knowing and understanding market needs is at the center of every successful entrepreneur, whether it sells directly to individuals or other businesses. Once you have gained this information, you can use it to persuade potential and existing customers that buying from you is in their best interest. How to meet the market needs? To meet the needs, you must first identify the market needs by analyzing the conducted interviews, focus group, social listening, or keyword research. It is needed to establish the identity of the market by studying or determining the conducted methods. After identification, you must distribute the information to relevant stakeholders to the group or organization. It must be given to the concerned individual or group of individuals to create a tailored product feature or create detailed content that speak to the market needs or customized product to meet the needs of the market. After the creation, the entrepreneur must collect customers' feedback regularly to learn the efforts to meet their expectation. Learn their need regularly because market need is keep on evolving. That's why after collecting the customer's feedback, it is necessary to conduct another identification.
The next is screening the proposed solutions based on viability, profitability, and customer requirements, and select the best product that will meet the market need. In screening the proposed solutions based on viability, profitability, and customer requirements, and select the best product that will meet the market need, we will discuss the factors to consider in screening the proposed solution and some considerations to meet the market need when selecting the best product.
Do you know that most successful entrepreneurs have developed the skills in screening and selecting the best product that will meet the market need with the right product at the right time? The old saying that timing is everything is true in entrepreneurship. The ability of the entrepreneur to identify new products or trends can accelerate the success of the financial potential of the business. They develop the skills because of the continuous practice or following some factors in screening and selecting the best product. Following some factor help the entrepreneur to easily identify the best product for the market, which means they can easily identify what is the market need. Meeting the market need must be based on an accurate assessment of market needs, wants, and expectations. An entrepreneur creating new product concept and marketing system must properly position the product to generate interest among its distributor. Screening and selecting the best product to meet the market need should be a high priority to catch the product trend. Mahalaga ito kasi kung mali ang result ng assessment ay maling product ang maibibigay ng entrepreneur. Kung maling product ang maibibigay ng entrepreneur sa market, ibig sabihin hindi niya na meet yung need ng market at may posibilidad na hindi ito tangkilikin ng market. Kung hindi ito tangkilikin ng market, hindi kikita ang entrepreneur. To be accurate, na ma-assess ang market needs, wants, and expectation, may mga factors na dapat i-consider ang entrepreneur. Una ang viability, sunod ang profitability, at ang sunod ay ang customer requirements. Ito yung mga factors na dapat i-consider in screening the proposed solution para makuha natin yung accurate assessment of market needs, wants, and expectation. Let us first discuss the viability of the factors to consider in screening the proposed solution. What is viability? The product that has a good performance and can be recommended to others to be purchased is called viability. Its popularity spread naturally to the market that needs or wants the product. The product that both initiates sales and generate pre-advertisement to the user. Ang viability po ay yung isang product mo, hindi mo na kailangan mag-advertise kasi ang gumagamit dito ang mag-advertise na ng product mo kasi na-satisfy mo sila. Pwede na itong ipost sa social media nila or sabihin sa kanilang mga kaibigan o pwede nang idaan sa text messages or pwede din i-recommend sa mga taong nakikita nila na kailangan ng product mo. Yan ang kagandahan ng viability kasi no need mo na siya kailangan i-market kasi ang mga gumagamit ng product ang magmamarket ito. Kaya nag-generate siya ng free advertisement. There are 6 steps to determine the viability. First, determine the target market. Second, understand the needs of the market. Third, define the value proposition. Fourth, offer up a core set of features for the minimum viable product. Next is build the minimum valuable product prototype. Next, get the minimum viable product in the market. That is the 6th step to determine the viability. The first step to determine the viability is to determine the target market. It is necessary to recognize who that product will serve is sufficient for the first step. As you conduct more market research and begin segmenting the market, it will discover the initial hypothesis may change. Establishing clear market personas to describe the market adds a human element to the design process and gives the product team a better understanding of who exactly the product for. Some characteristics you should include in the personas are market demographics, behavior patterns, motivation, and goals. You'll want to be as detailed as possible since these fictional personas will serve as representation of the real user who will end up using the product. After identifying a core set of market to the product, the next step is to understand their needs. Understanding the needs of the market is essential to comprehend if the product will satisfy the demand of the target market. Whether you call it pain points or market needs, the underlying principle is the same. The success of the product in the market will depend on its ability to address the undeserved needs of the target market. Because the product will be compared to existing solutions, it would make more sense to try and break into a market where the customer needs aren't adequately met. A good market opportunity exists when the product is able to create value for the market.
We've already discussed how the product will be compared to existing market competitors. A value proposition refers to the value an entrepreneur promises to deliver to the market. A clear value proposition helps distinguish the product from others in the market by outlining the product plan to meet the need of the market. Having a clear value proposition helps distinguish the product from others in the market by outlining exactly how the product plans to meet market needs better than the alternatives. It may uncover a handful of unmet market needs during your conversations with the target market, but it may not be feasible to try and go after the entire list. The value proposition offers guidance for the product strategy by forcing to pick a clear set of pain points to address. How will the product do a better job at meeting these needs compared to the competition? What unique features do it offer in order to add more value and delight customers? Why should the customers pick your products over others? The goal in this step is to iterate until you have a minimum viable product that your market agree is viable. The purpose is to iterate until the market agrees on the minimum viable product. A well-defined feature set to show the market helps validate what core functionality that the market value and acts as a safeguard against spending considerable time into developing a product that the target market needs or don't like. During the process you may discover that the market really value an important piece of functionality that's currently missing in the minimum viable product. They included an extra feature in the minimum viable product that the market don't particularly utilize. Don't be intimidated by the word prototype. The minimum viable product doesn't have to be a fully fleshed out product, since product fidelity and interactivity will vary for each business idea. The minimum viable product prototype will act as a representation of the finished product without requiring to completely build the final product. The minimum viable product prototype exists to help test the hypothesis by offering market an iteration of the product to interact with and offer feedback on. For example, having a mock-up of an app's interface, like a wireframe, is just as viable as building the actual app itself. At the end of the day, it's about staying lean, so we can easily react to the feedback we receive from customers. It isn't very efficient to invest considerable time and effort into building a finished product if you have to drastically change the product or pivot down the road. The sixth step to determine the viability is getting the minimum value product in the market. Once the iteration of the minimum value product is satisfactory, it is time to test in with the target market. The feedback received will be used as contributory in guiding the direction of the product. The integrity of the data is essential in this final step. From the start, use only elicit feedback from people who fit the criteria of the target market. If not careful, it could risk iterating the product in the wrong direction. to meet the needs of the market who might not necessarily be in the market for the product. To prevent this, consider designing a survey or questionnaire to make sure it's identifying research participants who more closely fit the ideal market persona. The actual test of the minimum value product in with the target market should incorporate a variety of qualitative and quantitative questions. Open-ended questions are more helpful in soliciting constructive feedback than questions that can be easily answered with a yes or no response. Of course, it should be careful and ensure it will not asking leading questions, since they can prime the users to give a particular answer. At the end of each test, be sure to look at both the positive and negative feedback received and take notice of any patterns in the responses and behaviors of each user who interacted with the product. Reflections, pivots, and iterations in determining the viability. The overall process for achieving product market fit is an ongoing process. It may find that the initial assumptions about the product, the market opportunity, or even the target market may not hold true after each iteration of the lean product process. As long as it stays persistent and receptive to the feedback of the market, it will be on the right track to developing a product with strong market opportunity. Once it determined that the product has achieved adequate product market fit, the next logical step is to figure out a viable go-to-market strategy and get the product in front of as many customers as possible. The next factor we will discuss in screening the proposed solution is the profitability. Profitability. Conducting a product profitability analysis forecasts the profitability of the new product that is planning to market. It allows the entrepreneur to isolate and solve issues that can affect the profit margins by proving essential knowledge to adjust the product to maximize profitability. There are 3 keys to analyze the profitability of the proposed solution. The first key is to determine the true cost of production. The second key is to test the market. The third key is to find the safe spot. The first key is to determine the true cost of production. The true cost of production is essential to involve all the cost of getting the product into the custody of the customer. There are a handful of things you must take into account before launching your business. The first involves the cost in getting the product into the hands of the customer. As an extremely basic example, consider the case of someone who makes yarn-based crafts as a small side business. She might pay $5 for 2 balls of yarn, from which she creates an item that she sells for $35. The ultimate profit $30 is impressive for a hobbyist, but not particularly significant in the greater financial scheme of things. Now apply the same logic to goods, whose production is more extensive. A company that makes t-shirts is paying for more than just the cost of the material. Most likely, it has to employ people with access to equipment, which in turn is kept in a building, which in turn requires electricity to operate, and so on. One of the biggest mistakes of an entrepreneurs make is to not account for the time they spend working. Eventually, you need to hire someone to take on your role that will increase your cost. Bigger profits require bigger outlays in terms of initial investment. As explained on Entrepreneur, running a business comes with many potential costs. The second key is to test the market. Testing the market is about determining the customers that are willing to pay for the price of the product. It is a wise course of action to consult with family, friends, and acquaintances who have prior knowledge of similar products. It might begin as simply as drawing upon your own experience as a customer, putting yourself in the shoes of someone who might be interested in the product you intend to sell. Consulting with family, friends, and acquaintances who have prior familiarity with the product is also a good course of action. While not quite on the level of goose walk, a certain amount of this will require going with your gut. And as a general rule, the smaller the business, the truer this will be. But prices cannot be pulled out of thin air. The third key is finding the safe spot. Now let's say that the entrepreneurs have taken action. Make a decision that will help the product enter into the market without losing its profitability. It can be the price of the products that are too little to recover the cost and reasonable price to pay. Someplace between a price that is too little to recover costs and a price that is too much for any practical customer to pay lies the perfect midpoint. It's up to the entrepreneur to find it. The importance of being aware of competitor pricing does not end once it is set up in the shop. In fact, it's only just begun. To truly compete is to engage in a monthly, weekly, daily, hourly cycle of awareness. Profitability is about knowing the costs of doing business. It is obtaining accurate pricing for the production, shipping, and other costs involved in manufacturing a product. Keep prices on the competition, and aside from the necessary crunching of numbers, gain a feel for the market. The process is continuous, which is to say that it begins before a business is to bring into operation, and never really stops, so long as the operation continues to function. The last key that we will discuss is the customer requirement. Customer requirement is a characteristic or specification that should be available in a product for it to be considered desirable by the market. The product may require both functional and non-functional. It can be documented directly or collected by a business analyst or market research team. This documentation is analyzed to identify what is the customer wants or needs. Furthermore, there are 3 levels of customer requirements. The first is must-have. The second is SATISFIERS. And the third is delighters. The first customer requirement is must-have. Must-have, it is the basic requirements expected by the market that will be appreciated if fulfilled. However, the market will show dissatisfaction if the demand is not met. These are the bare minimum requirements expected by the customers. If fulfilled, customers will not show any special appreciation, but if not fulfilled, the customer will show dissatisfaction. The customers do not explicitly express their desire for these, but expect it to be understood. For example, in a restaurant, the customer will feel that it is imperative to have a restroom in a decent restaurant where families or people from business organizations come to dine. The next customer requirement is SATISFIER. SATISFIER is about the expression of the market desire explicitly. The market would appreciate it more if their expectation exceeded their basic requirements. There are the requirements that customers express their desire for explicitly. If you offer better or more of these SATISFIERS, then the customers will appreciate it more and will be more satisfied. For example, the assortment of desserts in a buffet. The customers might feel that they are entitled to at least 2 as they've paid heavily for the buffet, and will be happier if they get 4. The last custom requirement is delighters. Delighters are a bonus extras, or add-on to the product requirements. The absence of this characteristic is unnoticeable and cannot dissatisfy the market. Nevertheless, it will increase market satisfaction significantly if added to the product. These are the extras or the add-ons. The absence of these will not leave the customer dissatisfied. In fact, the non-appearance of these characteristics might not even be noticeable. But adding these would increase the customer satisfaction and will leave them delighted. For example, you order a set of tea in a restaurant and get complimentary fresh strawberries. Some considerations to meet the market need when selecting the best product. The first consideration is, would you acquire the product and use it yourself? The second consideration is, are you excited about this product? The next consideration is, would you promote the products to someone you know? Another that needs to consider, is the product needed in today's market? And the last to be considered, is the product sellable for the next several days or several months or several years? Always remember the solution to having a successful product that will meet the market need is to know your products and to believe in that product that you are selling. If you do not believe in the products yourself, then you probably won't be successful at selling it. Keep brainstorming, and you'll find a product or product line that meets both the needs of your target market and your ability to locate it, purchase it, and resell it.
I hope na may natutunan po kayo sa ating mahabang discussion. Sana po ay may naintindihan. Kung nagustuhan niyo pong ating video, please press thumbs up. At pakishare na din po sa inyong mga kaibigan at kakilala para po sila ay matuto din. Maraming salamat po at God bless always.